So we are looking to the future at the UISG, and I can tell you that it is true. We have spent a lot of time doing, what do you call it? A strategic plan. So it is for us really very necessary to know what do we really want of the UISG? What do we want of our union? How do we want it to be really alive? No, these are the questions that we carry in us and that we want to carry with you. So just a little bit of history, because it is always good to remember where we come from. So the International Union of Superiors General was born on the 8th of December 1965. You remember that this was the closing day of the Vatican Council. And really it was desired by the Pope and by the Council, that it was inspired by the Council, in fact, to promote deeper collaboration between women's congregations of apostolic religious life. It was, at that moment, there was a great need that the congregations, the leaders of women's congregations and men's would come together in order to go into the aggiornamento that was being proposed by Vatican II. I think that the very beginning of the UISG was a very fruitful time for the congregations, working together to start thinking of the newness that had come into the church through Vatican II, and later to help each other also with the writing of constitutions. So we celebrated our Jubilee year in December 2015. We had a beautiful Mass over here, not far from here. And then we had the closing at the Assembly in May 2016. However, as a board and as a staff of the UISG, we had said it is not enough for us to make a beautiful celebration, a nice Mass, and a good, something good to eat, a party. That was not enough. So we were looking for something to do together, for an action. And from there came the idea of the action in Sicily. We will come back to that later, okay? So the UISG has 1,886 members of congregations of pontifical right, but also diocesan congregations. Everybody can join. We are divided into constellations to make it easier for sisters to meet. So there are 10 constellations in the Americas, there are 10 constellations in Africa, 8 in Europe, 1 in the Middle East, and 5 in Asia, and 2 in Australia. So the constellations, each constellation has a delegate, 1 delegate or 2, according to the size. The constellations sometimes are part of a country, sometimes are formed by different countries together, according to the number of superiors generals that there are. And the delegates have the duty to contact the members so that life continues. It is very important what a delegate does. So this is the internal structure, the organizational structure of the UISG. So I have already spoken of the members, divided into constellations. The biggest constellation is that of Rome, because there are many generalates in Rome. We have 202 members in the Rome constellation. Every 1.5 years about, meets the Council of Delegates. There are about 50 delegates, 50 to 60 delegates. We have just had the Council of Delegates in the Philippines, in Manila. Then, to represent, to do the work, if you like, there is the Executive Board, the Council, the Executive Board. It's a body responsible for the decisions of the Union, the ordinary decisions of the Union, for the implementation of resolutions and orientations coming from the Council of Delegates. It's an important link in the chain of communion and communication with all the levels of the UISG. It communicates with the delegates, communicates with of course, the executive secretary is part of the board, and it communicates with different people outside. We will explain that a bit later. They are the board of trustees of the juridical body, which the UISG is. There is the executive secretary, who is extremely important. That's the board of directors who appoint, so the executive council, it is written here, who appoints the executive secretary, and she participates in all the meetings of the board, of the executive council, but also of the finance committee. She is accountable to the board of directors for all her work, and her mandate is for 3 years renewable no more than twice. For the executive board also, the mandate is for 3 years renewable once. There is the permanent staff who does all the daily work, and it's a lot of work, we can assure you. You have some of the permanent staff here with you, like Patricia, and like, I don't see who's this, Rosalia, and Elisabetta here. So we have 12, I think, permanent staff. 14 now. Okay, including Pat. There is also, there's a finance committee, as I said, and the finance committee, the chairperson is appointed by the members of the executive council. The finance committee do a big job to see how the finances are going, and to give ideas also to the board. And they are responsible for the financial administration, and one of them is the legal representative for the UISG. Okay, so there is the Plenary Assembly, which is another big part of the structure, and that is every 3 years. And we have usually around 900 members who attend the Plenary Assembly. I think that we don't have more because we don't have more space. It's the largest place that we have found at the Argiver Hotel. So this is the structure of the UISG. So what are our aims? First of all, before saying the aims, maybe I will read when we were writing the strategic plan, we tried to describe our vision. What's our vision? And we wrote it like this, that UISG will be a vibrant and recognized international organization with a prophetic voice within the church and the world. We will communicate efficiently, effectively to support and offer hope to religious women. We will collaborate as a global community, responding together to critical issues in today's world. So the slides that come now kind of give this in more detail. So from the very beginning, the aim of the UISG was to see was to answer to the desire for communion and solidarity among religious women leaders. So it is to bear witness to the charism of religious life and to help support the development of religious life in the church and in the world. We have kind of realized very much while we were during discussions and during the meetings that we have held in the last 3 years, how beyond our individual charisms of our congregations, there is a common charism of religious life, of women religious life. And it is, in our view, very important that we try to define that a bit more for today's world, so that we know more how together we can be, how our foundations are the same, even if the colors and the outside way of looking at us and of doing can be very different. So this is one of the themes that keeps coming back. What is this fundamental charism of religious life for women today? A second aim is to promote deeper collaboration by providing opportunities for superiors general to share experiences, exchange information, and promote worldwide communication. And in my little word at the beginning, I said how we have decided to keep this space for us. You will see there are many rooms. It is a big space, a beautiful opportunity for us to be able to do things together. And we have already started doing things like sharing of experiences. I will speak about that. It's coming in later slides. Okay? Exchanging information. And also that this is not only left inside this building, only for Rome, but it can go elsewhere in the world through live streaming or through putting the webinars on the internet. And you can already find some of those on the internet. And they are a huge source of learning for us. The third aim is to reflect on today's global challenges and to search for appropriate responses. And challenges there are, right? And together we are always stronger to meet the challenges than by ourselves. The fourth aim is to strengthen relationships and to engage in collaborative dialogue with the Holy See, especially with the Congregation for Religious Life. And here you have the Cardinal Joe Bras de Avis, who is the how do you call it? The prefect of, of the Congregation for Religious. We have meetings twice, official meetings, we have twice a year. We have half a day, twice a year, an official meeting at the Congregation for Religious, and an official meeting twice a year with Propaganda Fide. That's in May and in November. We have just had the last one at Sickle Cell at the Congregation for Religious and at the Propaganda Fide. We just had them now, last week. We also have meetings with other pontifical councils, like the new one of about human development, integral human development, and different councils. I think it's coming later. I can tell you that I have been now. This is my 4th year, and like some of others on the executive board, and we can see the difference between what we inherited 4 years ago, which was really, you know, quite distant, and what we have now. And now we are, well, we can bring our research to the Congregation for Religious, and they take it up with us so that we can try to find solutions. And we have, besides the 2 official meetings, we have many other meetings, usually the executive secretary and myself or other members of the executive board in small groups with the members of Sickle Cell. So this has become now really, we have become partners in working together. I can say that. And I think that this is very advantageous for us as religious, because we bring problems from all over the world to them, and they take it seriously, and it is a joy to be able to work together. We have worked for a long time together, for about 2 years, on the revision of mutua relationes, the mutual relationships between the bishops and the other members of the church, and the religious especially. And this document should be coming back to the conferences of religious before it is passed. But, well, I say that with a bemol, with a question mark, but it should come. We hope that we will see this document come out in the near future. Okay? It is to provide a forum and a meeting place for all superiors general of female congregations of apostolic life and of female diocesan congregations. So we have the meetings, the assembly and the Council of Delegates are two possibilities, but we have other meetings in different countries also. And when we visit, when we go also to meetings of delegates, or to meetings of no, not of delegates, of religious conferences, especially of continental religious conferences. We take part, different members of the executive as well as the executive secretary. We try to be really near to what is happening in religious life in different continents. And different continental groups also come, executive members of different continental groups also come to meet us here when they come to meet members of the Vatican congregations. our sixth aim is to express solidarity and collaborate in projects of general interest. I will just show these slides because after the break, we will get information about the different projects. So I will not repeat, okay? So there's the project in Sicily for migration. There's the, what is continuing is the project of South Sudan, which is now an ONG by itself. However, we are still very near to them. There is the project for Talitacum. There is the canon law project. So you will get more information about that. But that was how we were building a global community. That was one day when I gave back a feedback on the Synod for the family, where I was representing the UISG. I'm sorry. So these are different meetings that we had here. So the projects, yeah. I'll just go through the slides, as I said, because you will get more information later during this day, okay? So Talitacum, which came out of the Assembly of 2004. Solidarity with South Sudan, which came also, was initiated in 2006, when South Sudan became a country, a new country. Regina Mundi in Diaspora, which is the, I told you about Regina Mundi, which was here, the university that was here, giving programs in theology and religious life. So once Regina Mundi closed in 2012, the executive board established the Regina Mundi in Diaspora grant program. And since then, we have given about 400,000 euros of grants for religious to study theology in their own country or area, especially in developing countries. With the reopening of the Religious Life Center here, the In Diaspora Grants program is being reviewed. We are trying to see what to do, because the money for these grants came from the rent of this place. So now we only have half the rent, and we also want to provide programs here. So we are not putting into question those who have already received a grant, because the grants are for 3 or 4 consecutive years, according to the program. Those who have started getting a grant will continue getting the grant. But we are studying whether to give new grants or not, and how many grants if we do give, okay? So that's where we are. So there's the refugees and migrants, and Elisabetta will speak to that. The canon law service, I don't know why. Yeah, the canon law service, canon lawyers at the service of religious life. Somebody is speaking about that? Yes, okay. This is a very important project because it helps us a lot. It's and then improved communication capacity. This was one of the things that we immediately saw when we did the strategic plan, how we were not being seen outside. We did not have a face nearly, and also how we needed to improve communication in order to improve relationships between us, no? The whole world, not just the ones here. So this Center for Global Religious Life, we are on the planning phase, and in this planning phase was funded by the Conrad Hilton Foundation. We are very grateful for that. It was not just as a planning phase, but in this planning phase, they also allowed us to buy chairs and furniture and to be able to start something, no? So that we can see how to develop the programs. We wanted to be able already to start some things here. So some of the events have already been held, webinars, conversations at UISG, and there was a survey to determine the future, and we received many, many answers. It was a very good response, and we have just tried to look at it. When was that? Last week. We were together on Wednesday. Yes. So we are trying to study how to go now, how to answer all the requests that were made. Okay, how to give an answer to that, what to prepare, what to start with. Many people asked for formation sessions from different parts, and here or in different parts of the world. There are new scholarship opportunities which are addressed to us, but they are for you to see, to look at. I mean, they are on the internet, and you can see if your congregation would have somebody who can benefit. I think last year they tried to give this Russell Berry Foundation at the Angelicum to study interreligious dialogue. They tried to give this one scholarship of this to religious, and we didn't find anybody. So please, if you have somebody who can benefit from this, tell us, because we can forward the names so that they can be chosen. And then there is scholarship opportunities for religious in Zambia to study theology in Nairobi. I'm not sure. And then there's the training for coordinators of Talita Kum networks. I think this, Gabriela will speak more to that. So some of the other new developments, from March to October, we have had some conversations here, available by streaming, so you can find them. The first conversation was about religious life in China. We have been in contact with congregations who can have relations with religious in China. And for the assembly last year, in 2016, we had six Chinese sisters who came for the assembly. A second conversation was about formation. A third conversation was about intercultural living and ministry. I'm not sure this has been held already, has it? Yes. And other conversations are going to follow. As for you to note already, the Assembly for Superiors General will be held in 2019 from May 6th to 10th. You might think it's very early, but it's better to put it on your agenda, because agendas of Superiors General are filled very, very quickly. There will be a few days before and a few days after pre-assembly or post-assembly workshops to which you can attend, either the 3rd to the 4th or the 13th to the 14th. And we were trying to see what topics to include. We think that we might include communications, canon law, new approaches to childcare instead of orphanages. So we are not sure yet what other topics might be included, but if you have ideas, you can always send them to us. I think that is all. So, thank you very much.